What is the good word, people? Steve Mayeda here with Austin Men's Development. This is our daily little check-in. What we're going to talk about today is where do we get started when we're rebuilding our life? Like, what aspect do we do? How do we not get overwhelmed? How do we know we're doing enough? How do we work as efficiently or as hard as possible at this one particular place? This was a question that was asked on our rebuild call this morning. And if you're interested in that, it only costs $10 to be a part of for 14 days. It's good stuff. Let's get into this answer to this question. All right, so let's get into the solution here. June 19th, and man, awesome. I woke up late today for the call, which is not awesome. And oh God, but an amazing call. And one of the questions that we had was this: a guy wants to rebuild his life and get it dialed in, right? And not coming from a huge place of trauma, not divorce, not a place where he's just coming from a lot of pain, but just like, man, how do I efficiently rebuild my life? Where do I start? And in the Rebuild Challenge, we look at 5 things. And these are, if you really look into my stuff and what we do as an ecosystem and as a coaching system in here, there are born to be qualities, meaning that these are things that are in you. They don't have to be rewritten by society. You don't have to exercise them to this hardcore degree, that if we put them in their natural environment, they're going to hit health. Okay, so that's our mind, that's our body, that's our expression, that's our sex in terms of masculinity, and that is our purpose. And when we put those in an environment where they can be expressed, fully, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Meaning, like, in order to have a good social life, we don't need to do all this extra stuff. We might need to at first, but we need to get to a point of peace with it. In order to get a happy mind, we don't need to do all this extra stuff. We might need to at first if we have some blockages from society or our belief systems and so on. But then we need to get to that peaceful equilibrium. Our body, perfect, best example of this. In order to get healthy, you don't have to work out like crazy. You might need to break your current stagnance in life or whatever it might be. But what you need to do is you need to then get to a point where you eat what your body was meant to have, you exercise how your body was meant to be used, and that will just put you in health. That all being said, where do we start? And it seems overwhelming. And when we really want to work on ourselves, we're highly motivated as men. Where we want to start is we want to be able to pick one. We just pick one of those, okay? Because if we pick one, we're going to give the best opportunity for the others to build up. Now, I know what you might be thinking. There's like a lot of people, like yoga is a perfect example of this, or jujitsu is a perfect example. People do that and get their body in the right alignment, but their beliefs and their mindset and their purpose fall behind. Their happiness still falls behind. But there's nothing wrong with, let's say, diving into jujitsu or yoga or CrossFit or whatever. But people do that and they get that part of their life dialed in. We see tons of examples of healthy people who have poor belief systems, who still have poor relationships, who still have no way of expressing themselves. They still may not feel like a man. And in some ways they do, right? So either way, it's a good starting place to get stabilized. We just need to see that isolated as maybe a mind and body and some purpose and masculinity. Jiu-jitsu and yoga tie into all those different things, but we might see that as a starting place for it, right? But that sort of starting place is key for then, let's say we get started in jiu-jitsu and we spend a year at it, then we have a clear-cut path of what we want to do with jiu-jitsu. We train 3 days a week or maybe twice a week or once a week or whatever, some consistency, maybe if you're an animal more than 4 times a week, but we train that. And then what we do is we start to look at, all right, how can I now focus on my mind? So current thing for me is body-wise, I'm kind of giving it a break. I do work out pretty consistently and hope I'm pretty healthy, and diet is actually a huge part of what I'm doing right now, but a big time is my purpose. How do I get in touch with that? So now I'm highly focused on what I'm doing for my purpose. So how we need to start building our lives in the right direction is we want one thing at a time. And what I like to do is I like to sit within that ecosystem of which 5 of those things am I going to work on. That is the best thing to do. Now, here's the deal. That's hard to do. I get it. That's almost going to be impossible for you to be able to just organize throughout your life, because I've been coaching for a long time and I get that it is impossible for guys to do. So what do you need to do? Be a part of a community, right? Be a part of some structure that works it, and be a part of something that is bigger than you. I'm not trying to say that some coaching group like mine or like other people's is this huge thing, but we need to have greater purpose in our life propelling us always. I would recommend, if you want to get started, the Rebuild Challenge is awesome. It's $10 for 14 days where you get to interact on 3 calls a week, right? You also, so you get very deep coaching. We went deep on today's call. It was awesome. You also get a private Facebook group where you get to interact with other people, like-minded people, which really acts as a 24-hour support. And guys who you're currently on the Rebuild Challenge, you need to be using that more. The dudes on MDX and on TSL, they do, and it's awesome. And you can also access a course and a material that's, you know, small and an entry-level point, but you'll really see how some things work. Now, if you don't like it, you wasted $10. But if you do like it, you have an entry point to an amazing, thorough coaching system that we have. So guys, you're not alone on this. You deserve to live your best life. We put out content and material for that. And if you want to take one thing away from this video, it is this. It is this. What is the one thing that I can do today that's either from my mind, my body, my expression, meaning socialization, my sex in terms of my masculinity, and or my purpose in terms of what gives me function and meaning in life. And if you can do those things, man, you're going to be on a good start. All right. Actions make you a better person. Let's get started and let's get to work. All right. Have a good day.